Well, we are getting ready to do a bucket list item for kind of both of us. This is something we have always wanted to do, and I've lived in Florida for I don't know how many years now, and never been to the Kennedy Space Center. So since we're RVing here in Flagler Beach, it's only about an hour away. We figured, why not take the hour drive down and check it out while we're here. We're actually going to buy the 2-day pass so we don't have to try to fit it all in one day. And we're going to try to make another trip over there at some point in the future, in probably near future, to experience the second day.
I can't believe that after all these years of us living here in Florida, we have never been to the Cape Canaveral Kennedy Space Center. So we're going to take you guys along with us and share a couple tips and tricks as we visit the Kennedy Space Center.
Well, we paid to park, and of course it's going to start pouring down rain at this point. Sunny as anything when we left the campground this morning. Just goes to show you Florida, how different the weather can be just an hour away. Trying to get through the line in the rain.
Yeah.
Security check, but we are in. And are doing a little research. We were told to definitely do the bus tour, so we're going to do that first. The Space Center, enjoy all the great exhibits, and come back soon.
Follow 8 except the sky.
Quite the experience. So we just got through taking the shuttle bus, the first thing, to the Apollo exhibit. We spent a good solid 2 hours, 2.5 hours over there, and had lunch while we were there. Eating here, it's not cheap. So you got, what was that, a turkey? Mm-hmm. I got a side salad and a hamburger and a drink, $30.
Yep.
And I think that was definitely the smart choice going there first because, you know, seeing all the history of the Apollo moon landings and everything, that was way more than I expected to be there. I mean, the whole rocket simulation launch was really cool. The windows rattling.
Oh, wow. Yeah, my hands were starting to sweat. I was getting pretty nervous.
So now they've dropped us off at the Space Shuttle Atlantis, and we're going to go inside and check out the Space Shuttle Atlantis. So we're going from the Apollo to the Space Shuttle. Well, we just got stopped. We got a little less than 6 minutes before the next, whatever this is.
Yep. We're waiting in line. We're first in line.
We don't even know what it is, but something to do with the Space Shuttle Atlantis, I'm assuming.
May I have your attention, please?
Look, you're right underneath the Space Shuttle right now. Yeah, this is neat that they have this here, this time of year. A little Christmas tree trail. It's probably pretty at night with it lit up. Apollo rocket tree. Oh, here's the Artemis tree. Very cool. Place is definitely a lot more massive than I thought. Look at all the little benches they have over here where you can sit. And here, I think, is the launch pad I was talking about to Allie that I thought they had out here. So I thought this was a launch pad, but no, it's an astronaut memorial.
So we discovered that if you're looking for something to buy, like souvenirs, Pretty much every attraction has their own gift shop, but we did notice that there is one main gift store when you first go in, like kind of in the center, and it is huge. We ended up getting a couple items. So there's a downstairs with women's and men's clothing, and then there's an upstairs with just all kids stuff.
And here at the entrance, which we didn't really stop and look at this on the way in because it was raining, rocket garden. And this is awesome right here. All these rockets. And it has turned out to be a beautiful day here. So we're just exploring the rocket garden before we head out on this first day of checking out the Kennedy Space Center. We just kind of walked into the Gateway experience just to see what it was. Way too much to try to see in there today. Definitely glad we bought a 2-day pass.
I was saying that, man, you could definitely spend more than 2 days here.
Yeah, it's
So much to see here.
this is like I guess it's like Disney World for space.
It is.
Well, I'll say one thing. There is no way we could fit all this in one day and feel like we've really seen everything.
Right.
There is so much to do and see here. And we spent so much time over at the Apollo that it's kind of worn us out for the day. So I'm kind of glad we bought the 2-day pass. Definitely worth it. We will definitely come back and see a lot of these things we haven't seen. Well, we had an absolute great time here at the Kennedy Space Center. Can't believe it's the first time either one of us has ever been here as long as we've lived in Florida. And that 2nd-day ticket's going to come in handy because we are wore out. We have spent, I don't know what time is it right now, but we've spent probably 5 or 6 hours here today. Before we're going to do this again, we're definitely going to game plan where we're going to go and know what we're going to see first, second, third, fourth, so on.
So next time we come, we definitely want to do this Space Shuttle Atlantis launch exhibit. It looked really interesting, but it was 45-minute wait, and we just knew that we weren't going to have the time to do it. And we wanted to get in a couple more things before we ended our day. So that's the first thing we'll do when we go back.
Things that we learned about Kennedy Space Center that we wish we had known before we came today. If we had done a little bit more research. Number one is on the way in, they had a map with the attractions and they had a QR code that you could scan to download an app.
If we had known about the app beforehand, we would have downloaded it and started planning out our trip of what different things we wanted to see.
In which order, exactly. So on our day 2 return, we're definitely going to look at that map, and we kind of know we want to go back to this one certain area first, but we're going to kind of plan around that. So know that if you're going to come here, and especially if you're only going to take 1 day to do it, you really need to plan it out in advance.
Yeah, because you really can't get through every single thing in 1 day.
No, you're going to have to pick and choose what you really want to see, I think. And that's going to lead us to our second thing. If you can do this 2-day visit here, like for us, we live in Florida. We bought the 2-day pass. We almost didn't. It's only like $15 more. Going in today, we thought, we could probably get it all done today. No, there's no way. We spent so much time at the Apollo because it was just so cool and so interesting that
And we ended up eating lunch over there.
Yeah.
So we took up a lot of time.
And that brings us to another tip we found out that we did not know. You can bring in a backpack with, what did they say?
Yeah, like a lightweight crushable cooler that, you can put some sandwiches and stuff like that in there. You just can't have bottles.
And you cannot bring alcohol in.
Yeah, your own alcohol.
So next time, I think we are going to bring some food in because, especially with me and my diabetes, I kind of need to eat healthy. And I tried to eat healthy today. We did have a hamburger and a salad, but, you're spending
It was $30.
$30 for a couple sandwiches and 1 drink. So that's where these places really do tend to get you with in the pocketbook, that and the gift stores, which that brings us to another point. As you leave each attraction, there's a gift store in each of the attractions that we did today, being the Apollo and the Space Shuttle Atlantis. And we were trying to search and find certain things that we were looking for gifts and whatnot. But there is a huge gift shop in kind of the center of the whole complex here. So it has an upstairs, a downstairs, and all that. Another big tip I would definitely say is get here when they open. I mean, that's kind of goes without saying. As Allie says, most people will get here, but we noticed it got more and more packed as the day went on. That's for sure.
The nice thing though, even though it was very busy, you're not having to wait very long to see an exhibit or to, see something, because there's so many different things set up that you can just walk up and read about it, or learn about it.
That is true. There's not really, so to speak, lines like there is at amusement parks and such things like that, except at the Space Shuttle Atlantis. There was the Space Shuttle launch, and we noticed that there was a line there, and there was a wait time of like 45 minutes. So that's why we didn't get to do that today.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think that we did well this time was we went straight to the bus and did the bus tour over to the Apollo exhibit and past the big building where they basically put the rockets together. And
that was really neat to see.
It was about a 20-minute bus ride, believe it or not, from the visitor center here to where they take you over to the Apollo exhibit.
Back on the bus, which was 15 minutes to go back the other way.
Because they don't take you around the assembly building on the way back. So it is a little bit shorter. When you're going, it takes a little longer because they drive you around it to get you a good view of that. He said it's the tallest single-story building in the world. It's crazy.
And they give you a lot of information on the bus as you're riding over. So that was interesting. But yeah, I think it was nice because of the fact that if you get there early and you're on that first,
that whole area over there is not so packed with people at that point.
Right. So it's good to just go ahead and knock it out, get it out of the way first, and then when you come back to the visitor center here, you're able to see the space shuttle exhibits and everything.
And there were some attractions over there that I had no idea. We went into this totally blind, not really knowing what Kennedy Space Center had to offer. And the one cool part that I really enjoyed and actually brought some tears to my eyes is you're sitting like in the control room as they're launching the first Apollo. I'm not sure which I can't remember which Apollo rocket they were launching. I don't think it was Apollo 11, but I think it was just the first one to put men in space, I believe. But it's like a control room, and the back windows are rattling, and you're feeling the rumble of the rockets. And
I looked up and I saw those windows shaking, and I was like, I was thinking to myself, what if that breaks? My hands started sweating a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, last year we went and seen Mount Rushmore, and Allie had a teary up moment walking up the where the flags were leading to Mount Rushmore. This year, I told her, I said, this year I'm having my teary-eyed moments because I don't want to give too much away, but when you see the Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit and the movie that follows, and as you're walking, it's just, yeah. Another thing we never knew was that you could actually pull your RV in here. So if you're RVing through Florida and you want to stop at the Kennedy Space Center, they have RV parking, and you obviously pay more to get in with your RV than you do for a car. But hey, I mean, that's pretty cool, that you could just, there's a whole big parking lot over there with large size parking for RVs. So in conclusion, RVing in Flagler Beach where we're at now and taking an hour drive trip down here this morning, getting up early this morning, was it worth it? Well, yeah.
Yes, definitely worth it.
Now, last night when I was going to bed and I set my alarm for 6 a.m. this morning, I was thinking I almost literally woke Allie up and said, you know what, let's just plan a camping trip where we're closer to the Kennedy Space Center and do it another time. Glad I didn't. I'm glad I went ahead and woke up. Glad we went ahead and did this. And it was...
it's a bucket list thing for sure for us, and I'm really glad we did it.
Yeah, and it was more than I expected. Way more than I expected. Yeah. I mean, this is like, I told Allie, this is like Disneyland for people who love space like I do. No, there's not roller coasters and stuff like that, but it is like...
a lot of history here.
I was like a kid in a proverbial candy store just looking at all the rockets and everything here. So definitely glad we did it. And if you are staying within an hour here and you're like vacationing in Florida with your RV or anything like that, and you've ever wanted to check it out and you've been curious, I would say highly recommend it. We were looking at the prices last night and we were thinking, man, it's going to be a couple $100,
But it's definitely worth it.
I think it's definitely worth it. And I mean, when you see the amount of just the amount of everything that they put into this, it's nice. And I didn't even say this to Allie, but when we were leaving the Apollo exhibit and getting on a bus, we never had to wait for anything because they had so many buses.
Right. That's what I wanted to mention about earlier too, talking about the waiting time, is that you really don't have to wait.
No.
For different things, because they have it all laid out so nicely, even walking up to see videos and so forth.
But they had so many buses running that I couldn't believe that it costs a lot of money for them to do that. That's for sure. So I think it's well worth it. Definitely well worth it. And we're looking forward to coming back and finish this adventure here at Kennedy Space Center. So if you guys are new to the channel and you like this sort of thing where we show you different things that we do while we're out RVing and adventures that we go on and try to give you a little bit of tips and tricks and a little bit of knowledge, please hit that subscribe button down below. It does really help out the channel. Make sure you drop us a like as you leave too. These things really help out. Drop us a comment and say hello and let us know if you've been here and what you thought of it. Give us your opinion on the Kennedy Space Center here.